76ers got their first win over the Celtics last night. Embiid finishes with 52 points, go along with 13 boards. He went 20 of 25 from the floor. But the Philly big man says his team needed to be better after being up 7 points. With under 10 seconds left, they go on to only win by 2. Shannon, as you're handing over Skip's Diet Dew, how impressive of a win was this on a scale of 1 to 10?
Look, Skip, I know Joel Embiid was sensational last night, 20 of 25 from the floor, had 52 points. He scored over half of their points. But the Celtics were without Robert Williams. They were without Jaylen Brown. And I didn't understand, unbeknownst to me, why the hell would they have 6'6" Grant Williams guarding Joel Embiid one-on-one in the low block? And Grant basically said he was busting my you-know-what all night. He did a great job of counting punching. He did a great job of when I cut him off, he just kind of either pivoted or rolled off the contact. Skip, 7'2" versus 6'6". One guy probably weighed, what do you think Grant Williams weighed, 220, 225?
He is stout now.
Okay, I give him 230, 235.
Okay. He's in there somewhere.
Joel Embiid is 300 pounds. Joel Embiid is 300 pounds if I'm 200 pounds.
I'd like to think this year he's 290, but because he looks a little better.
At that height, Skip.
I got it.
And so, look, he was sensational last. Now, you're going to tell me, now, hold on. P.J. Tucker had one previous game all season in which he made 3 3-pointers. Hell, he made 3 last night in the final 2 minutes.
He did. Thank you, PJ, for my Diet Dew.
Yeah. I guess he got upset because he was doing cardio. The last 5 or 6 weeks, last 5 or 6 games, he's just been doing cardio, just running up and down the court. Look, Skip, you won. You avoided getting swept. Still, the Celtics won the series 3-1, took 52 points in a sensational 52-13 game, and you only won by 2 without 2 starters in the lineup. You feel good about that? You don't.
I feel great.
You feel great because you won the do. But you know deep down inside, in a 7-game series, you're not winning 4 of those games. The Sixers I do not believe the Sixers can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series without home court, and they're not going to have it. They're not going to overtake them for the 2 seed. The 1 seed is already gone. Milwaukee is going to get the 1 seed. Yeah. So look, I'm gonna give Joel Embiid credit. We're gonna talk about this a little later. That was an MVP performance. That's what you do, Skip. Says, okay, MVP voters, if you had any doubt, I just removed it.
Yeah.
But you won the game. Am I overly impressed? No. Was Joel Embiid impressive? Yes. But still, after that monster performance, you still only won by 2, and still it took you P.J. Tucker hitting threes like he was Steph Curry last night. So,
although in his career he has been Mr. Corner 3.
Oh, that's a shot.
That's what he does.
That's a shot.
It is bread and butter.
Yeah. So an impressive meter.
I ate a whole bunch of bread and butter last night.
I give you 2. I will give you 2 on the impressive meter.
I'm going to give my Sixers a 9.
A 9?
Because of what Doc Rivers said after the game. We did so many things wrong, but what we did right was Joel Embiid. Shannon, this was an extraordinary performance against the 3rd-ranked defensive team in basketball. I still don't think they're quite what they were under Ime last year. That defensive mindset, that hard-nosed, fight you every second kind of defense that made Kevin Durant look like he was about 6 feet 1 inches tall instead of 6'11" or 7 feet. Joel Embiid was extraordinary last night because it didn't matter who was guarding him or how they were trying to guard him because he did so much of his damage from some distance. I've told you all year about Joel Embiid. I've told you since January, he is the MVP. I think he cemented his case last night. I think he closed the deal.
Yeah.
The problem the Celtics have is that they doubled him 13 different times, so it's Grant Williams and whomever's going to come flying over. But Joel, when he senses any kind of resistance, you know, and I know what he can do, he just pulls up and fades away from the free throw line. Is that as unstoppable a shot as Kareem's skyhook? Do you call him 7'2"? I think he's 7'1", whatever he is. He's 7-something.
Yeah.
And I've told you from the start, in all my time watching basketball, I've never seen a man that tall with that kind of shooting touch.
Oh, he has touch.
Because he can shoot 3-point shots like they're free throws. It's easy touch. It's sweet touch. It's touch where it looks legit like a little man shooting a tall man shot. Well, when he's cooking like he was cooking last night,
he makes unguardable.
It's just unguardable. It's going to be game over. And let me just show you, if you will allow me this, just because that was such a night of nights. It was a historic, epic performance. I'm going to get into some of the detail of what he pulled off last night. But could we see his 20 buckets in a row? Just bang, bang, bang. This is what it looked like. And if you're a Celtics fan, this is what you had to put up with. That's just like, that's too good. If he can, with that kind of
This ain't no double. I don't know if they call that a double team because White.
That's Grant.
That's not a double. Come on,
okay,
bro. Where are you going, Grant? You see Marcus Smart coming to help you. You give up the baseline?
That's 7-2 footwork. That's easy there. A little putback. But this is Luke Cornett from Vanderbilt University. Thank you very much. And this is like, okay, now that is some touch for a big man when you're falling down and you shoot it high up off the glass. And then these little fadeaways over Al Horford. It's unstoppable. Thank you very much.
I mean, ain't nobody, they just like.
Look out.
What was that? Come on, Grant.
You got to at least get in his way. And that's not an easy shot. Not an easy shot. And this is the kind of shot where you just say, that's too good. And
that's Grant, one-on-one.
A fall away 7-2" shot.
Skip, but he shooted it over me.
Okay, over Al Horford. That was a double at the top. And then Luke Cornett, thank you very much.
Should have called foul right there, Derek White.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh, come on, man.
That's wicked.
Skip, that's one-on-one. He playing one-on-one.
Woo, that's Skip, 1-on-2.
No, Skip, that's Brock. He just faked that. Skip, come on, man.
Okay.
It's one-on-one.
Okay. All right. Here, thank you. Oh, you guys think that's a little bump from behind, and that's an and one.
Look at this. Come on, Grant.
Boom. Okay. That was the array of skill on display last night. He was double-teamed 13 times. And on what I'm getting this from ESPN.com's stats and information, but they said he was 10 of 13 on contested field goal attempts. I don't know if it's loosely, if you want to put quotes around.
Yeah, contested.
Okay. He's the first center with 3 50-point games in a season since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's all the way back in 1972 when he was a buck, right?
Yeah.
Straight out of UCLA. And the numbers, it was only the second game in history in which a big man went for 52-13 with 6 assists on 20 of 25 shots, 80% shooting. It's the second one to Wilt. So he was Wilt Chamberlain last night, but you know and I know, you saw some of Wilt, right?
No.
Maybe not. Okay, I saw a little bit of Wilt. Wilt couldn't do that.
No.
Wilt was all finger rolls around the basket, and he was the Big Dipper. He's 7'2", maybe. So I think they listed 7'1". So let's say he and Joel are about the same size. Wilt's playing against, pardon my language here, a lot of little white guys, but they're trying and failing because that's how he scored 100 points at Hershey, Pennsylvania one night against the Knicks. They're just too little to guard him, so he's doing that.
Right.
He's doing that. And he's rolling, what do you average rebounds one year, like in the 20s?
Yeah, one year they had a 50-25, and then the next year he had 44-27.
Okay.
He had 27. He averaged 27 rebounds as a rookie. I don't think somebody
and as our man Chris Broussard once pointed out on the show, they played so much faster in that era that you got way more possessions.
Yeah.
So he was getting possessions and cashing on everything because it was like Gulliver and Gulliver's Travels with the Lilliputs, Lilliputians. They're so little that he's dunking
towering over.
Yes. Okay. So the degree of difficulty is, to me, for Joel, is definitely higher than Wilt's degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
All right. So what I didn't like last night was it was all Joel and not much else.
Right.
So you got me on that part. But even worse, at the end of that game, in the shock of shocks to me, the Sixers, including Joel, who had 2 very careless late turnovers. One was a bad pass where he just got the ball knocked out of his hands. And then he had an offensive foul at the end on an inbounds pass that gave Boston the ball twice. And all of a sudden, a game that should have been a 15-point game, it was way worse than LeBron and the Lakers.
Right.
Way worse because in a shock of shocks, Derek White makes a 3-point shot, and I thought was fouled, and they challenged and won the challenge.
Right.
So he didn't even get a 4-point play shot. But it still comes down to Jason Tatum has a shot to win the game from the baseline. If we could see this long inbounds pass. Yeah, that was the, that was Horford. Okay, there's the Derek White play. And then the last play is to Jason Tatum, who gets a fall away from the baseline. It was contested. I thought he would come a little closer than that, but he didn't. I mean, your due is riding on that shot. Yeah. You realize that.
They should have kicked it back to Derek White.
Well,
he didn't have a chance to.
Okay, but Derek White had a hotter hand than Jason did because Jason was 2 of 8 from 3. All right, here's the point about the Philadelphia 76ers. If you had told me that Tyrese Maxey, and I am a big fan of his, if you told me he would play 40 minutes in the game and score 5 points, I would have said, well, they lose because he was only 2 of 8. He just didn't take many shots and had only 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 fouls, and 4 turnovers. That's not how he plays basketball. I thought James Harden at times looked like a liability. He looked like a sad shell of himself about half the time, yet he still winds up with 20 and 10, which is okay, but he was 7 of 17. And then I'm also a big fan of DeAnthony Melton, who can defend at a high level, but he plays 19 minutes and goes 0 for 4 and scores no points.
Right.
So it was one of those nights where Joel had little to no help. He really had very little help. He needed to do what he did.
He did.
And he did that.
Right.
Okay? So I'm going to accept it because I was watching the game, talking to our producer Tyler at the first of the game, and I told him when I looked up and saw Jaylen Brown was not going to go, I said, Sixers might be in trouble because all the pressure then went off the Celtics. They could play free and easy, and all they wanted to do was add some icing to the 0-3 cake that they'd already baked.
Yes.
Because they'd already baked them 3 times.
3 times.
And yet, I told you yesterday, in those 3 games, Boston shot 44% from 3. Well, last night they didn't. They shot 33% from 3. And to me, that ended up being the difference. Not that Philly was hot from 3, but at least you didn't shoot them out of their own gym.
Well, Skip, I mean, in Boston was 10 of 16 from the free throw line, 62%. They're a better free throw shooting team than that. Tatum missed 2. Marcus Smart was 1 for 3, and Malcolm Brogdon, who's a decent free throw shooter, he went 2 for 4.
Yeah.
I mean, in a game of this magnitude, you don't think about it at the time. You're like, a missed free throw, missed free throw in the first quarter, the second quarter. But they add up because the game, like you said, the game ended up being a 2-point ball game.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, you go 14 of 16, which they're more than capable of doing. They're better than a 62% free throw shooting team.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens? But Joel Embiid needed 52, Skip, because here's the thing. If the reason why Maxey is because Joel had it going, you going to interrupt that to try to get your shot?
Usually he gets his in the flow and it flows, but he didn't last night.
But when I could just dump it down to Joel Embiid and he get to play one-on-one with Al Horford, he gets to play one-on-one with Grant Williams.
But Shannon, they're not even dumping it down. He's taking it up high off the pick and roll. He's just standing out high and saying, "Okay, I'm going to go from here."
Yeah, you got to make some. Skip, once you see the guy getting it going, you're like, well, damn. He ain't missing. I mean, he hitting step backs. He hitting, he's rolling to the baseline. No, we got to get the ball up out of his hands.
You could try.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
I mean, maybe the defense is, because the Celtics all talk about, the whole league is trying to figure out how to defend him. Maybe it's put 2 guys on him out high and just say you just can't even touch the basketball.
But you have to understand, okay, if the double team is coming, where is the double team coming from? Because you see one double team is coming to the middle, so Grant cannot give up the baseline. And what did he do? He allowed Joel to spin baseline, and boom, he's right at the basket. So you just have to understand, okay, the double is coming to the middle. Let me shut off the baseline. Okay, the double team is coming from the backside. Let me shut off the middle.
Look, Joel sometimes has slow body language in between possessions.
No, he was decisive last night, Skip.
And when he spins and cuts, he's got explosion for 7-2.
If you think about it, Skip, he reminds you, his footwork reminds you of a lot of Elijah Wan because both of those guys played soccer. And you remember how the dream shaking, but he could spin. He'll feel your body, and he spin on David Robinson or Patrick, and he's at the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a man that's 50 pounds heavier than Akeem Olajuwon.
I got it. And finally, not only did he have 2 big blocks in the third quarter, but all 3 of those P.J. Tucker threes came courtesy of Joel's kick-out passes. So he got 3 assists off that.
Yep.
Well, that's a basketball game, man.
You won. You got 4 Ks. I'll get it back.
You will?
Yep.
How?
Might get it back tonight.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I ain't betting on no Russell Westbrook.
Whoa, that's your team.
I told you, I'm out. I'm off. I'm done.
You scared now, huh? You scared?
scared of him.
But you got Kawhi.
Yeah.
It's Kawhi.